Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusril, this is Holodeck Happenings, and it is the 29th of April 2014. Welcome to a look at the Undine Tier 1 rewards, or such of them as I've been able to grind up over the last few days. Before we plough into that, however, a bit of news that probably needs to be shouted from the rooftops. For those of you who haven't been paying attention to your journal, there is a dilithium weekend coming up. Now, this will start off on Thursday the 1st of April, 6 PM. I'm assuming that is British summertime, so adjust as per your time zones. I'm on GMT+1 at the moment. And dilithium mine lockbox tickets will double for the event. Just about everything else gets a 50% boost. So if you're grinding for shinies, if you're just grinding for dilithium full stop, now would be an excellent moment to consider stocking up. That will run until May the 5th, Monday, May the 5th. So, people in the UK, you know what you're doing on your bank holiday weekend. Look at it this way, it beats tea with Great Aunt Maud. Or better yet, an angry Klingon. You know it makes sense. The other thing that needs to be yelled out is connected, because this wasn't really very well publicised, but Investigate Officer Reports is back. Those of you who've been watching my videos know I do Foundry Frolics every so often. This mission is on a half-hour timer. It gives you a bonus 960 dilithium on top of the dilithium you normally get for doing a Foundry mission. These missions are generally pretty good. Do the spotlighted stuff, do the high star rated stuff, and I assure you what the content in there will match 90% of what Cryptic can produce. So, a couple of things for your weekend, ladies and gentlemen, Klingons, and indeed officers of the Federation Starfleet. On to tricks, however. Undine Tier 1. Now, the standout here, especially if you're a cruiser captain, is the hydrodynamics compensator. This is a 500 mark, 2 isomorphic injections, 15,000 dilithium, and a spot of expertise. It's part of the same set as the mixed weapon relay console we got from Surface Tension. So let's bring that up and have a look at the set bonus. So, an extra 7.5% bonus phaser or disruptor damage, 2% increased chance for biomolecular weapons to apply the incubation debuff, and then the rest of the set builds up. Degenerative wave signature, that is a kicker against Undine. 10% chance of basically shutting down their innate regeneration, which is one of the things that makes them such an absolute pain to fight, especially if you're running the instances on elite mode. It's also worth noting that the compensator comes with bonuses to engine and auxiliary power, which is kinda handy for a support cruiser or a science ship, but the real improvement is the bonus to starship targeting systems. As anyone will attest, you cannot have too much accuracy rating in this game. Any overspill goes to critical hit and critical severity, it's not wasted, and since the Undine are so fond of heavy torpedoes which have an innate defense modifier, it does mean you don't necessarily have to slot tractor beam repulsors as an emergency point defense, although to be perfectly candid, I'm actually doing that anyway. So we'll just plug that in. I think I'm going to replace my shield capacity. Well, I'm going to have to start rethinking this at some stage, because that plus threat console's too handy in the tanking role. That's handy just for boosting power levels. The beam accuracy on the Nukara converter is worth having, as is the shield power. Don't really want to lose my depth charges. They're really too sweet for a bit of extra spike damage. Might I have to say goodbye to my Borg console? Maybe not. We shall see. As for the Tier 1 boxes, you can see I've been stacking these up for a bit. Now, this came out of them, the Biomolecular Photon Torpedo Launcher Mark 12 Double Crit Boost, which is, I'm assuming, about as good as you're going to get from a Tier 1 box. So 4.8k kinetic going up to 5.8 versus Undine, that's basically a 20% boost, and Biomolecular Incubation. -1 speed, i.e. basically it's a snare effect. Again, handy against Undine, also handy against frigates of any race, as well as a little bit of radiation damage when the effect wears off. Now, what's the proc chance here? Does it tell us? No, it does not. Does that mean we're going to get the effect consistently? Truth be told, that's what I think, but I've not done any scientific studies on it. I suspect it's going to be things like the beam weapons that have a limited proc chance, simply because they are so easy to get firing solutions with. Now, I also got some photon mines. Again, similar procs, 33% chance of incubation. Bear in mind that you're dumping at least 5 mines in a salvo, and potentially more if you're using dispersal pattern beta. But let's blow a few of these open and see what we get. So, Disruptor Blast Assault, that's fairly standard Tier 0, Tier 1 stuff. Blast Assault Phaser Crit H2, that's not too shabby if you want something that'll do a few at a time. Blast Assault again. Blast Assault Minigun, yeah, I've kind of gone off miniguns, mostly because they're awful against the Borg. Full auto rifle. And are we going to get any space stuff at all? Did I just get very, very lucky? Apparently I did. Yes, apparently I did get very, very lucky to get the photon tube and the mine layer with my first 2 Undine boxes. Moving on, I suspect I'm going to be swimming in those weapons by the end of this. We've also got the traits. Happily, you no longer have to choose one or the other. You can have both if you don't mind blowing 2 trait slots. Mental Acuity, really kind of nice against anybody, no matter the race. 10% bonus damage while aiming. The Psionic Resistance really helps against Undine, as I'm sure everyone is aware. So Undine love their telepathy. So do Remans, as it happens. But against some races, of course, that's just pointless. So, the other thing we have is the store option. If you somehow missed out on your personal weapons, at Tier 0 you can pick these up for the low, low price of 10,000 dilithium a time. Generally, you're probably only going to go for that if you are chasing specific types of weapon to round out your away team. On the other hand, given how rapidly we're all swimming in these, and mind you, they are bound, aren't they? Oh, that's interesting. Bound to character, bound to character, bound to character. Yeah, bit of a pain. Would be nice to be able to trade those a little more freely, but them's the breaks. So, Tier 2. Okay, we did not, unfortunately, get a cutscene, so no plot advancement again. That was the same with Tier 1. Let's see what we have to play with this time. So, Mark 12 assault weapons. Biomolecular disruptor pulse waves. Again, this is very much a case of rounding out any gaps you've missed. On the other hand, by this point you have done so many weapons that you're practically drowning in biomolecular weaponry anyway. I'm tempted to ask why anyone would even bother spending dilithium in the store to get those. Let's plug in a couple of projects, get some boxes, see what we have. Just run the 20. Again, you'll note the resources for this haven't changed. 30 marks, 15,000 energy creds, and 2,000 expertise. I'm told the commodity vendors are desperately contemplating their role in life at this stage. Now, let's pop the box. What do we get? An isomorphic injection. Well, that's kinda handy in its way. I suppose I can always trade it in. I've been mainly grinding these marks by doing elites, so I'm not exactly short, even if I did just dump a good chunk of them off to get some quick and easy dilithium. Remember, 3 injections gets you 1,000 dilithium more, and probably more when it comes round to the weekend. So the personal shield and the compensator are Tier 1 rewards. Personal shield, can't give you the numbers for some reason, but I can give you the bonuses. Generally very handy. Oh no, there we are, 336.7 maximum capacity. 2% chance of a knockback, and Lord only knows how the set works. I really, really, really need to get the profession-specific kit as and when I have time to run surface tension again. Yours for the low price of 500 marks, 5 injections, 9,000 dilithium, and 40,000 energy creds. What else do we have? The Counter Command Deflector Array. So, plus 5% accuracy. Yes, please, I'll have that. 8.8 energy weapon training, 17.5 projectile training, extra. Oh wow, I might be about to dump my Mark 12 Mako set, mightn't I? Oh boy, that is nice. Either for science or cruiser, you'll notice we get bonuses to particle generators, so if you're chucking gravity wells and the like around, that's a little extra damage on top. And inertial dampener as well. The Undine love their knockbacks, so that is definitely worth getting. What's the price going to be? 750 marks. Ow. 5 injections, 32,500 dilithium. Ow. 40,000 edge credits. Ladies and gentlemen, dilithium weekend. You know what you gotta do. We also have the enhanced torpedo launcher. This is why I have to wonder why they didn't put the torpedoes, or at least the baseline biomolecular torpedoes, into the tier 1 and tier 2 boxes. So what do we get? 90-degree targeting arc, 3,000 to 3.6 kV. I think that's actually lower than my regular biomolecular torps. Same biomolecular incubation effect, slightly lower damage again. I'm assuming that's running as just 20% of baseline, maybe 25% of baseline. 10% accuracy, 20% crit chance, and 20% severity, 2% crit chance. I stand corrected, and again it will add to the set, although I know that the 3 set really requires you to have the heavy biomolecular turret, which we won't get until I believe it is tier 3. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? No, I tell a lie, it's not tier 3. It is tier 4. Okay, that is an interesting point. If you are going to hit the 3 set bonus at tier 2, but you can't use the advantage until you hit tier 4, and for that matter, I don't think you can unlock the next step of the bonus until you get to tier 4 as well, then the question is, why is that even here? Because I can get the torpedo, that's fine, so that gives me the 3 set, the turret barrage, but I can't get the wave signature without the turret, and I can't use the biomolecular turret barrage, presumably without the turret as well. So, Cryptic, why? Wouldn't it have made more sense to swap around the turret and the torpedo launcher, and for that matter, seriously boost up the numbers on the torpedo launcher as well? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe that's an outdated description. I rather hope I am, because right now, that makes no sense whatsoever. So, let's plug in. I've not got the marks for anything else at the moment, so let's get another hourly report going, see if we get something a bit nicer in the second tier 2 box. There we go. And click. Right, another torpedo launcher. Mark 12 blue with a single crit D. Not going to replace my existing one. Interesting. Oh, right, I see. Now that is interesting. What happens if I take out the torp launcher? 4.8. Okay, that's interesting. It's updated the it's recalculated the numbers. Okay, so it looks as though the enhanced torpedo is probably going to run numbers comparable to this. That is very odd, and I'm not sure why it's happening. Normally tooltip numbers are the baselines. They don't take account of bonuses and such like. Have Cryptic gone and tweaked this on the quiet, I wonder? Certainly the disruptor batteries seem to be using their standard deployments. Let's bring up one of the weapon attacks. 2 kilometers, 949. No, so that is absolutely standard. We're getting the baseline value from the tooltip, and then my ability readout is factoring in skills, power levels, etc., etc. Now, where's the torpedo launcher gone? 48875865.2. Oh! For some reason, the tooltip on the torpedo launcher is factoring in my weapons skills. Of course, torpedoes don't take power levels into account. But my other weapons aren't. Is this a new thing from Cryptic? Let's take the energy relay off, because of course that has a 26.2 photon projectile damage. And we'll force an update again by re-equipping 44995398. Plug this in, and what do we have? 4853 4887. Oh, ho. Cryptic, what on earth is going on here? Is this a first step towards doing weapon values on the fly? I dare say we'll find out as time wears on. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you've been having similar experiences with your biomolecular torpedoes and mines, particularly if you've got the surface tension weapon relay, the counter-command multi-conduit energy relay to give it its full name. But for there we shall leave it. I'm interested to see how far that particular enigma goes. Is it taking account of everything, particularly skills? If not, well, we shall see. And until next time, well, farewell.